Story 1. I like doing what I want when I want. I am not interested in making the compromises and considerations necessary to be a good partner. I do not have issues with loneliness and do not feel the need to have a relationship just for the sake of having one. If someone comes along, that is great. If not, that is cool too. Story 2. Most people can be unkind, and because of autism, I struggle to pick up context clues while interacting with others. Story 3. I'm in a relationship now, but I think I will end it soon. Often, I see that nobody wants to put in the effort. It makes me sad because I do and want to be with someone who feels the same. I'm not sure if I will ever find someone like that. People like that seem extremely rare. Story 4. I stayed single for 5 years after a 5-year relationship ended badly. Around this time, I started lifting weights, reading, and going on solo hikes. One thing that kept me single, despite having women show interest in me, was how down I felt much of the time. I didn't want to burden anyone with my sadness, and I also didn't want to carry anyone else's baggage because I was still trying to figure my own situation out. I felt so exhausted by my last relationship that whenever a woman showed interest, I'd get defensive. It felt like people just wanted to drain my energy, and I was so focused on protecting the little peace and happiness I got from working out and doing things I wanted to do with my free time. My peace became so important to me that even while watching my friends enter happy relationships, I was content to be the single friend forever. I never felt 1 ounce of loneliness, and that's something people don't seem to understand. When you truly enjoy your own company, you don't feel lonely. Story 5. I am not in a position to handle or worry about someone else's feelings all the time. I have my own things going on, even if that consists of sleeping during the day or wanting time to myself. I've tried relationships before and even got married once. I lived with other people for too long. I realized I just don't have it in me. I finally live alone again, and I never realized how much I needed it. I don't get lonely, and it was one of my bigger annoyances with people who can't just be quiet sometimes and need to chat every single time we are in the same room. I just can't handle it, so I really don't want to hurt someone else's feelings in the process. Story 6. I would like to focus on improving myself and working through my own challenges first. I believe in building a strong foundation before inviting someone else into my life. Story 7. Demisexuality, past relationship trauma, and autism seem to create the perfect combination for never experiencing romantic connections. I either fall for people I shouldn't or can't, such as friends who have partners or those who start dating just before my feelings become apparent. I also struggle to feel that kind of connection with most people, and I refuse to settle for those I'm not attracted to. As a result, I often find myself alone on weekends and at night. I've grown accustomed to this and have learned to enjoy it, but it made me feel like something was wrong with me when my friends frequently discussed dating and casual relationships while I had no interest in pursuing anything similar with people I don't know. It still frustrates me that I may never experience those natural and common human interactions. However, I'm concentrating on my other desires and needs in life and no longer worrying about romance, as trying to force myself to engage in something I don't want would only lead to frustration. Story 8. I have never found a person I am willing to give up my peace for. My house is my place to decompress from the world, and so far, I haven't found someone who makes my home better than being alone. I will remain alone and happy until somehow someone's presence makes my world better than it is alone. Story 9. Literally, no one has liked me ever. I'm not saying this to seek compliments or attention. It just is what it is. Story 10. It is challenging to find someone who shares similar views, integrity, kindness, and insightfulness. Finding a partner who values fidelity, enjoys being independent, and does not want children is particularly difficult. I do not settle for the wrong match simply for comfort or attention. As a result, I remain single and not by choice. I am outgoing and playful. It is frustrating, especially since I have been single for a long time, and it is easy to develop a complex about it. Additionally, mental health struggles also contribute to the situation. Story 11. When they say, "You're the first and the last for me," it's frustrating. You just wasted my time. Story 12. Some people enjoy being by themselves more than they will ever enjoy compromising who they are for someone else. I got lucky. I found someone who cherishes who I am and doesn't judge my interests. But admittedly, that's hard to find as you get older because the good ones get snatched up quickly. If you are genuinely enjoying being by yourself, there is nothing wrong with that. If you feel lonely, just remember to never settle for someone you cannot be yourself around. As a wise woman once told me, the only thing worse than being alone is being with the wrong person. Story 13. I strive to learn new things to constantly improve myself and gain knowledge. I also believe in treating people well. Story 14. The dating pool in one's 40s resembles a swamp, filled with emotionally detached or troubled individuals. Adding baggage from previous relationships and an alarming number of self-absorbed people makes it healthier and happier to remain single. Story 15. I don't understand what flirting means, and I feel awkward in social interactions. I've been single my whole life, and every time I've tried to change that, it has backfired badly. I prefer to keep to myself and assume that everyone is just being nice because there is no way anyone could be interested in me. Dating apps have also been a disaster for my mental health, as they have reinforced the feeling that I am completely undateable. Story 16. Dating was challenging. The casual hookup culture involved difficult encounters with men who expected me to help fix their trauma. Story 17. I'm single because I have my own emotional problems at the moment. However, when I'm in a relationship, I strive to be a strong support for her emotional issues. I am nearly done dealing with my own issues, so I will be looking for a partner soon. Story 18. I was kept apart from the only person I truly wanted to be with. Is that why you felt the same? Despite how irrational it seems to assume I know what someone else wants, I felt all along that we make sense together. And the fact that we are apart makes no sense. I was right because you didn't want to be apart, nor did I, and we both knew that on some level. Story 19. Anytime I've tried, I have been made a fool of. So I'm just going to sit here in this little corner of the world and relax by myself. It's fine. Story 20. I am happier alone. All my relationships have taught me to value my solitude. Life is much better for me when it is just me and my dog. Story 21. The last serious relationship I had was the most intense, crazy, super romantic, abusive, otherworldly, multidimensional experience I've ever had with someone. In all honesty, I still believe he is a type of shape-shifting alien who operates from multiple realms. He and I would often have conversations on these topics. I am a very well-educated person, so I would interrogate our discussions in great detail, but the actual experiences spoke for themselves. They were nothing short of pure magic. It was astonishing how our lives intersected on multiple, practically infinite levels, realms, and realities. Ultimately, I could no longer tolerate his toxicity, abuse, and narcissism. He is a severely damaged individual who is fundamentally struggling with his existence in this world. The experience with him diminished the romantic side of me, and honestly, I'm fine with that. I live a happy, peaceful life on my own and appreciate my solitude. I think being a Buddhist has helped put certain things into perspective. I am not seeking a partner and am currently living in a country that does not support being homosexual. That has also put potential relationships on hold. I have phenomenal, close friends who have been there for me through it all, and at the end of the day, that's all I need from genuine human connections. Story 22. Online dating has become much more disappointing than it was 12 years ago. Most men message me only to leave me on read and ignore me. They make no effort to have a conversation and get to know me, yet expect me to want to go on a date with them. When I express that I need to know them better first, they act like that's unusual and then block me. I'm trying, but I haven't found a man who is willing to put in any effort to get to know me. Story 23. I like my freedom, even though I don't do very much. I don't necessarily want to be responsible for another adult. I already do that for work and they pay me for it. I don't want to need anyone, and I don't want anyone to need me. A woman between 35 and 45 is likely to have her life together to the point of wanting her peace or has more going on than I'm willing to take on. Social media hasn't helped. I know it's not real life, but I would be dishonest if I said it had no influence on my thinking at times. It's just not meant to be for everyone, and that's okay. Story 24. I'm doing my best to find a match. but it is harder than I thought. Dating can be challenging in your late 20s. Story 25. I love intensely. Not in an abusive or controlling way. I have good self-control and do not let it affect the relationship. It's just exhausting. Story 26. Seeing all the negatives a relationship can bring when I look at my friends and others around me makes me cautious. If I am perfectly happy being single, then why risk destroying that peace? I understand a relationship can bring positive aspects, but as long as I am mentally happy and fulfilled while being single, I will not enter into a relationship. Story 27. I don't have my life together enough to be a good partner. I don't want to subject anyone to that. Story 28. Well, the cult says it's the drugs, but I say it's the cult that made me do the drugs, so we're at a stalemate. Story 29. I find being around other people for extended periods stressful. The idea of living with someone and having them in my house all the time feels like my idea of hell. Story 30. Happiness. People are often undependable and selfish. Why waste energy subjecting yourself to the negative energy of others? Story 31. I used to date many people until the last 6 months. I want to learn to be by myself and not have others on my mind. Feels fantastic right now. I have no worries about anyone. Don't get me wrong. I'm not against being in a relationship, but I think it's better to be by myself to address my commitment issues. I want to focus on myself first before I meet someone truly deserving and risk messing it up because of my issues. Story 32. I have attention deficit disorder that makes it hard for me to maintain partnerships. It has been challenging for both of us, so I decided 15 years ago, after 3 difficult attempts, that enough was enough. Now, I have my own routines, everything works, and I am much happier now than in any relationship lasting more than 2 months. The first few months in a new relationship are just wonderful, without any compromises, and everything feels great. Additionally, considering how dating is now compared to 15 years ago, I would be very apprehensive if I decided to give it another try, so I remain true to myself. Story 33. There are many beautiful women around me. Dating would infuriate my ancestors. It would be a complete waste of my looks and talent. Story 34. I would hate to sacrifice what I want to do just to engage in something I do not want to do. I haven't found a reason not to be selfish with my time. Story 35. Waiting to find someone worth being with. We need to vibe and share the same values. I've gone on a few dates, and while they were nice, there wasn't that connection. Story 36. The person you date significantly influences you and your life. I have big plans and want to live a good life. Story 37. I am still grieving the loss of my wife. I need to sort out my own issues before I consider inviting a woman into my life. Additionally, in my current situation, there are not many people I trust. Story 38. I haven't met anyone interested in contributing to the quality of my life, whether through friendship or shared experiences. So why should I hold myself back for someone who doesn't care? Story 39. My ex broke up with me last month, which has helped me realize that I should not date again for a while. The breakup made me aware of my attachment issues that need to be addressed. It has also shown me that I do not know who I am as an individual. I need to work on myself before I put myself back out there, as it wouldn't be fair to myself or others until I address my problems. Story 40. Ironically, there was a lack of effort from them. I usually give it a few weeks, treat them how a woman should be treated, and then walk away. After 3 years of perseverance in dating, I decided to end it early last year. Story 41. When I was married, I did not have respect for my wife and found no peace, as she enjoyed having pets, pursuing projects, and maintaining an organized chaos. We were in a sexless marriage for about 5 years, and she used intimacy as leverage. Now I date casually, enjoy peace in my home, receive respect from my children, and have intimacy approximately 4 times a week with the women I am casually dating. My needs are met, and I am not going to fix what is not broken. Story 42. Until this moment, I have held the assumption that I need to be something that is always out of reach. Story 43. My last relationship was terrible, and I don't want to start a new one unless I truly connect with someone. I want to have more conversations before the relationship becomes serious, but it doesn't seem very suitable for the instant connections that are common these days. Story 44. A never-ending string of toxic relationships, the fear of ending up in a miserable marriage like my parents, and being a single mother while keeping my son safe. Story 45. After turning 30, I have realized that I love doing many things by myself. I might not enjoy them as much with my inner circle, including family and my best friend. While having a partner would be great, I believe I will still want to spend a lot of time alone and enjoy more me time if I can. Story 46. Because I don't leave the house very often and I've never fallen in love with anyone before, but I still want to have a boyfriend. I don't know why. Story 47. Not finding the right person makes meeting new people feel like a waste of time and energy. Everyone says they want a good partner who is loyal, but once they find them, they do not value them. I am tired of this and I refuse to use dating apps, but it seems nowadays that without them, you cannot meet anyone. Story 48. I have many personal matters in my life, and financially, I am not in a position to start a relationship. Story 49. Living alone is the best, and I've never been happier. Unless a partner can greatly enhance my life, I'm not interested. I will always have my own home. Never again. Story 50. I like to take care of my partner and be a dependable person for them. However, I am currently not in a position to be that kind of partner. I have more pressing priorities that require my focus and energy, so I am fine for now. Doing a half-hearted job in both my life and relationship would be a disaster. I prefer to take things one step at a time. Story 51. The desperation to engage with other men changes them, and that seemed too dangerous at the time. Story 52. I feel that looking for a long-term relationship while I'm uncertain if there will be a long-term anything is really silly. I just don't have it in me to seek love when I doubt my country will be sovereign 10 years from now. Story 53. I have a hard time connecting with others who have less common interests to bond over. For dating, I tend to need applications to meet a wider range of women, but my lack of documenting my life seems to be a red flag. I've never engaged with Instagram and that whole side of social media. My dating style is more slow-going and subdued. In other words, it's quite boring. Story 54. I want to be with someone only if they are my perfect match, but I am not willing to put everything else aside to pursue this. If they come along, they come along. If they do not, they do not. Story 55. I don't want to experience that pain again. Traumatized me, and I am still trying to heal my heart from it. I need to show myself a lot of love and kindness before I can trust someone again. Story 56. My ex filed for a marriage license with his sister-in-law when we were together. I saw it online. I have zero interest in dating or a relationship. Story 57. I've been single for almost 3 years now. I wasn't enjoying the dating app experience, so I decided to focus on myself, physical and mental health, career, and getting into graduate school. Along the way, I realized I'm quite happy living a simple life with my cats and family, and I don't really need to be in a relationship to feel accomplished. Recently, in the last few weeks, I tried to download apps to see if there was anyone interesting to go on a date with. It was the same old lack of effort, no depth in conversations, and lack of communication from women that I had experienced before. I figure I'll either connect with someone on an app eventually, meet someone in graduate school, or just be fine raising my cats alone. If it's meant to be, so be it. But I'm not bending over backwards for love anymore. I'm a great catch, and it's about time love chased me. Story 58. Childhood trauma, poor role models, not meeting the right person, and hearing numerous dating nightmare stories make me want to remain single. Story 59. Hookup culture has led to many people not knowing what they want. Being a single mother often causes some men to automatically assume that you want them to take on a fatherly role before even going on a single date. There is a general lack of understanding in these situations. Story 60. I have been single for a long time, 6 years. I finally met someone I was considering dating. We went out for lunch. She has 8 children. Her oldest is 21 and her youngest is 1. She is 40. This explains it. Story 61. I don't trust people and I'm really happy on my own. I have good friends, peace of mind, time for myself, and blessed silence when I come home from work. Story 62. You eventually get tired of trying, wasting time, energy, emotions, and money on people who don't reciprocate. Now that I am 34, I realize that my relationships in my 20s were not on the right timeline for love. Dating has become chaotic. Many women seem to play games, spend time streaming, and use dating apps without genuinely engaging. They are more focused on gaining popularity and virtual rewards, even though it rarely leads to real connections. Furthermore, many women are aware of how the previous generations were treated by men and are opting out of dating altogether. Most men also hesitate to approach women anymore because in 2025, it can come across as intrusive, making them feel uncomfortable. Those who find relationships or get married often do so by sheer luck or through connections made in high school. In general, dating in 2025 feels like a joke. It combines outdated practices with petty frustrations. Story 63. I can't stand someone who constantly questions my choices. This is why I have always had friends but never a girlfriend. Now that I want to get married, having a long-term relationship makes sense. Story 64. I prefer my private life to be one of solitude. I enjoy going out occasionally, but I would never be able to recharge if I didn't live alone. Story 65. I had a 7-year difficult relationship with my children's father. When we split, my son was 3 years old. I wanted to focus on getting our lives together, ensuring he was in school and stable, just like any newly single mother would. It became so comfortable that I fell into it completely. 13 years later, in 2024, I started dating again. It's incredible how much dating has changed in the past 20 years. Story 66. I love myself emotionally and spiritually, but not physically. I've been losing weight, but I'm still not where I want to be. I want to love myself inside and out before getting involved with someone. I don't want to feel like I need my partner's validation. Is that strange? Story 67. All the cringe people on the Delhi Metro and Connaught Place show their public displays of affection. But because of them, I've come to the conclusion that these couples are bound to get hurt. Not everyone, obviously, but I've already seen many of my friends going through the same situation. I don't want to be hurt. That's why I prefer to remain a spectator in this. Story 68. Lately, I have started to feel scared about getting closer to people. I no longer feel comfortable with others knowing me. It makes me uneasy, and I feel like pushing them away. Additionally, I no longer appreciate that kind of affection. Still, I feel lonely because I wish someone would notice me and look out for me. Story 69. It's a mix of lack of opportunity, lack of relationship skills, and testimonies from people who are in unhealthy relationships. I would like a relationship, but I'm honestly not sure if the grass is greener on the other side. Story 70. I never thought of someone as an experience. I wanted a man who would be my husband. I didn't care about what was going on in society. It is very difficult for something like that to come around, but that's what I wanted. Story 71. First, it was anxiety. Then it was heartbreak. After that, it was disloyalty. Now, I feel I am too good for most of these people. Story 72. I am not interested in looking for someone who will just show up. There are people only concerned about money who cannot show up because they are hiding something. They think they can manipulate the perfect boyfriend, but at the end of the day, they wouldn't know what to do in intimate situations if they had the chance. Then there are those who use spirituality or theology to find a partner. If you believe that you are destined for someone or that you are a gift from a higher power, you might need help, not a partner. We are all gifts, and there's no way you are that exceptional. There is a cult mentality out there with people who think telepathy is valid communication. They offer nothing but excuses for why they cannot engage and fail to realize it would have taken much less effort to simply have a conversation with someone rather than manipulate them. Story 73. At the time, I had just ended a 6-year relationship and needed some healing. Additionally, I felt like I had missed out on a lot of fun, especially in college, as I was the friend in the relationship while all my friends were single. Eventually, I realized I disliked the entire dating process. I connected with older women who felt the same way and enjoyed time with them for several years until I recognized that I couldn't continue that lifestyle for much longer. Story 74. I dislike putting effort into dating apps, but they are currently the only way to meet people in my area. I am waiting for the moment when I feel fully committed to re-entering the dating world. In the past, I would spend a few days on the app, lose interest, leave people hanging, or cancel dates. I do not want to treat others this way, especially those who are genuinely trying to find the right person. I do not want to contribute to making someone else feel defeated or consider giving up on dating altogether. Story 75. Divorced after a difficult 10-year relationship, I focused on myself for a couple of years. Then I thought I would try dating again, but it felt like a waste of time and money. There were people who did not show up, ghosted, matched, and never engaged in conversation. The choices were poor, the games were absurd, and the expectations unreasonable. Frankly, I'm tired. I do not want to chase, and I do not want to play games. I just want someone who is mostly normal and enjoys me for who I am. Since that seems impossible to find, I now choose to live life for myself. Story 76. Not willing to settle. I wasn't looking for perfection. However, if I don't feel a connection in the first 2 weeks, then it's not worth pursuing. The experience was enjoyable. Story 77. Peace of mind. No one is cheating on me, putting me down, comparing me to exes and hookups, or abusing me. I can work on myself and continue learning from the last 5 years of psychological and physical challenges. My mother doesn't have to hate anyone or be angry with me all the time. I don't have to live to impress anyone. It's just me. Being single is wonderful. Story 78. I've realized that most people in the dating pool in their 30s have emotional baggage. They are often not over their ex, emotionally unavailable, or damaged. I don't have the energy to seek out the few who might be different. It would be easier to just live life on my own. Story 79. My ex left me feeling hurt, so now I don't really want a girlfriend. My close friend is in the same situation, so we grab some beers on the weekend or go out for dinner. Story 80. There is no one who can enhance a relationship to the level of enjoyment I experience from being single. Story 81. Once you experience infidelity, it is like taking the red pill from the Matrix. You can never return once you comprehend the nature of women. Story 82. For me, things are great for the first 6 months, and then inevitably, women try to take control of the relationship or do something unwise, and I have to end it. It's less of a headache to just stay single and move on every few months. Story 83. Initially, I struggled to find someone to connect with. 7 years later, my challenge has shifted to not knowing how to engage with someone in a way that could lead to a romantic relationship. I also feel deeply insecure about spending significant time with someone, worrying that they might get bored, frustrated, or angry with me because of who I am on a daily basis. Story 84. The last person I dated, I fell extremely hard for. This was about 4 years ago, and I haven't felt even close to the same with anyone else despite trying. I completely messed that up eventually. It sucks, but it's the truth, and I hope one day I can feel that way again for someone. I just don't know if it will ever happen for me, unfortunately. Story 85. I don't like how I look, and it's difficult to market something I don't like, so I just stopped looking. It has been several years since my last relationship, and I no longer have the desire to disappoint someone. Story 86. I am focusing on myself and growing into a better version of who I am. I believe the right person will come when the time is right. Story 87. I used to be a serial monogamist. I lived with a boyfriend for a year. After we broke up, I looked back and realized I had been completely miserable not only with him but with every relationship I had ever been in. I had no idea what I wanted or how to be in a healthy relationship. It was destroying me, and it wasn't fair to my partner, so I swore off dating for at least 2 years to focus on myself. The longer I stayed single, the more I realized I needed to work on myself until I was ready to be with someone else. So I took an extended break. Having no distractions opened me up to many things I wouldn't have learned, seen, or done if I hadn't stayed single. I changed careers, moved, and traveled a lot. Those experiences were amazing, but they weren't conducive to putting down roots with someone else. Now I'm in a good place, happy, and ready to be in the right relationship, but I had a long time where being single was the only thing on the cards. Story 88. Seeing every relationship around me descend into emotional abuse, screaming, constant arguing, cheating, and controlling behavior. If this is what love is, then I do not want it. Story 89. I know better than to involve someone with me. Additionally, dating is my personal hell, so I stopped doing that. Story 90. Poor physical health. I am a man, and I would not want to be financially dependent on her while I am at home unable to work. Story 91. I'm protective of my time and can't be bothered thinking about how someone else feels. I was married and have been on my own for a while now, and I love it. Story 92. When I talked to my therapist about the last person I went out with, he said the guy was a predator. Story 93. I'm not sure at this point. I don't have much luck with dating apps, and when I do, they tend to last for 2 to 4 weeks before making various excuses to stop seeing each other. However, they usually remain friends on Facebook. I guess I'm just unlucky or boring. Story 94. I never saw the point in a relationship. Observing the relationships around me and on social media makes me realize just how much better off I am without one. Story 95. My last girlfriend broke up with me 1 month into a long-distance relationship that she requested. I may not be happy alone, but I am never as desperate as I feel when I am with someone who has hurt me. Story 96. I've tried meeting people, but it never leads anywhere. On dating apps, some men just ask for your Snapchat or want to hook up. It's hard to find a meaningful connection. Another challenge for me is that I don't want kids, and I would prefer to date someone who also doesn't have children. The dating pool in the 30s age range doesn't have many men who match that for me. Story 97. I don't understand the concept of romantic love, its purposes, what to do while in a relationship, or how to be in one. Honestly, I'm too tired to share my space with someone. Story 98. The most straightforward reply is that I feel unattractive. Because of this, I have encountered all kinds of people. Some who treat unattractive individuals poorly but act kindly when speaking to others. Many of them are often unaware of their behavior. I lack motivation to improve my appearance because I do not wish to connect with anyone. Story 99. I didn't want to use someone as a rebound for my last relationship. I wasn't ready and didn't want to hurt another person. While it would have been the easier option and could have helped me move on at someone else's expense, I chose not to. As time went by, I looked around and simply didn't find anyone attractive. I have been celibate for 2.5 years now. Story 100. I am waiting for the right person to come into my life. I am currently 18 years old and have never been in a relationship. Many people have confessed their feelings and sent love letters, but they are not my type. I might change my mindset because I am feeling deprived of touch and want to show my affection to someone. Story 101. I am tired of lies, cheating, manipulation, gender roles, narcissistic abuse, emotional and physical violence. I do well without men in my life and I would like to keep things that way. Story 102. At this time, I would rather have close friends than a romantic partner, and that is what I do have, so I am content. Story 103. I have been single for nearly 6 years. I focused on personal development and it paid off. I lost a significant amount of weight, picked up salsa dancing, and I consider myself quite good at it now. I secured a new job, received a promotion, and then a raise within just 1.5 years. I also started a side business and traveled to some fascinating places, including Africa, Sri Lanka, and Mexico. I expanded my circle of friendships, began journaling and meditating, and removed myself from social media. I deleted my Facebook account and stopped going to the gym. The end result is that I have worked on myself to the point where I value my own company. I have numerous ways to occupy my time and no longer seek validation from others. I don't feel lonely, nor do I feel the need to undermine myself by behaving like a performer on a dating app. I am open to the possibility of someone entering my life naturally, but I haven't dated anyone in 2 years and have found more peace within myself than ever before. I realized that I have never truly been in a healthy relationship with a woman and that the connections I had were often sources of anxiety and dissatisfaction. Interestingly, I had better luck with women when I was out of shape, unemployed, drinking, and using drugs regularly. Now that I am stable and building a fulfilling life while pursuing enjoyable hobbies, I find that nothing is happening. It's puzzling. Story 104. I have been in both a deeply loving relationship and a lukewarm one with different partners. I am not interested in marriage or having more children. I have experienced a fairy tale romance with perfect chemistry, while my last relationship felt very routine and soured my view of being in relationships. Therefore, I don't have the drive to seek new connections at this time. However, I am open to dating if I meet someone I click with, though I am not actively looking at the moment. Story 105. Men can be more of a hassle to deal with than not. I feel like I am constantly compromising. As a single person, I can do what I want when I want, using my own time and resources. In a relationship, I have to consult with the other person about decisions. With no expectations, I can perform just as well on my own as I can in a relationship, which may ultimately feel like extra baggage unless my significant other is generous, wealthy, and considerate. In that case, things change. Story 106. I'm either boring, have an unappealing face, or both. The Venn diagram of things I like and things that facilitate meeting new people resembles two circles that do not touch. Story 107. I value my freedom. I don't have to consider a girlfriend in every decision I make. While monogamous relationships and family are important for building a civil society, I am currently too selective and not ready for that commitment. Story 108. My complete ignorance about how not to be single is evident. I am unable to start a relationship. It has never happened to me. Story 109. Every time I enter a relationship, it follows the same cycle of abuse. I cannot seem to escape it. I go a long time between relationships due to the trauma, but after a few years, I try again and end up having to leave unexpectedly with only the clothes on my back. I want to feel love and give it in return, but I struggle to make better choices, I suppose. Story 110. My last relationship was chaotic. My partner was controlling and abusive, and I had no social life. The trauma will never allow me to feel comfortable again. Story 111. I think after having 2 long-term relationships, including 1 engagement and 1 marriage, end due to infidelity, I feel somewhat affected by those experiences. The divorce was 2 years ago, and this year I decided to focus on myself and my dog. Interestingly, last month I had a brief romantic involvement that ended yesterday, as she needed to prioritize her own well-being. In that case, she communicated openly about what was happening, so it really doesn't bother me. I sincerely hope she finds her way, as I have been through similar challenges over the past couple of years. Dating today feels incredibly challenging, so I'm somewhat over it, even though I would like to have a companion. Story 112. A few years ago, going on dates repeatedly with different people never materialized into anything substantial. The cost and emotional toll it takes on you is no joke. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.